Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Dream. Welcome to the It's All Good show. I have no idea what 2025 is going to hold, but this could be the most fun show of the year. Certainly, it's the most fun show to date. My guest is Kentucky Gallahue and Derby the surfing dog. Um, we first connected with them, although they didn't really know it at the time that we were connecting with them, when they were, in my mind, the stars of the show, The Pack. And this is a show that's on Amazon Prime, and I highly recommend, if you haven't watched it, that you watch it. We're going to talk a little bit about it. But we were super impressed, and then we just really, of all the people on the show, we followed Kentucky and Derby afterwards on social media and everything else. And we were honored to be able to support a project that they were looking for support for. And it's been a treat. And so the It's All Good show, it's my podcast. I get to have whoever the heck I want on. And I thought, you know what? If they'll do it, I want them on. And here they are. Kentucky, Derby, welcome to the It's All Good show.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so happy to be here.
You guys, in 2020, and it was a crazy year.
Yeah.
So we probably found the show. I had my back-to-back strokes in September of 2020, and we were recuperating in Tucson, Arizona. And so we must have found the show around the time it started, but probably December or something like that of 2020.
Yep.
And the entire show and everything just captured our imagination. So before I just go in talking about how cool you guys are, tell us a little bit about the show. Give us the premise of the show.
Yeah. So the pack, it was called The Pack, and basically it was like the Amazing Race, the show The Amazing Race, where people teams travel around, get clues to try to get to the end. It's just like that, but with dogs. And that's what I explained to people when people are like, "Oh, what show were you on?" I was like, basically 12 people and their dogs were teams, and we traveled the world doing crazy obstacles, trying to find clues to try to win $500,000.
And how did it play out for you two?
So yeah, when I tell people about that, they're like, "Well, did you win?" I said, "Do you want to watch the show, or do you want me to tell you?" It's most fun to me want to tell you. So Derby and I, we actually made it to the finals, and we lost and came in second place by 7 seconds.
Off
But it
the
was,
record, I think you guys should have won. But
yeah,
oh wait,
it,
this is
it was
now on the record.
it was amazing. I mean, at the end of it all, I was like, man, this experience, I just wanted to be I just wanted to go to all the places, because all the places we got to visit and around the world and do all the crazy stuff. That was my priority. Then at the very end, I was like, oh, we might win this thing.
So, give us the quick list of the places you all went to.
So we started out in LA, then we went to Mexico City, Costa Rica, Vienna, Austria, Interlaken, Switzerland, that's Florence, Italy, Austria. Oh, it's been a minute. England, France, or Paris, and then we ended back in the States. So I think I hit all of them. Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. What was your favorite place?
So everybody always asks me, and I love it because I had a favorite place and Derby had a favorite place.
Which was yours?
I loved, oh yeah, Costa Rica was my favorite. I can't wait to go back down there. We weren't able to surf while we were down there, but the jungles and everything was amazing. Derby actually loved Switzerland. He had never seen snow that deep, and he fell in love with it. Like, he loves the cold weather. I don't know if you saw on the show, I was covered up head to toe, even covered my face. I was like, get me out of here as fast as you can.
I've been to just about all the locations that you went to, and love Costa Rica, but maybe a little more on Derby's side. That Switzerland is one of my all-time favorite places, and Interlaken is a beautiful locale. Now, obviously, my introduction to the two of you was through this show. What kind of notoriety did you have before the show?
So Derby and I moved out here to San Diego, California 8 years ago. And one of the things I wanted to do when I first moved out here was to learn how to surf. I'd never surfed in my life, but I've skateboarded before. And my first time surfing, I went out to try to learn to surf here at OB Dog Beach, and Derby kept following me out there, trying to. He always wants to do what I'm doing, so I put him on a board one day, pushed him in the wave, and he rode it all the way to the beach. So we just kept doing it. Some guy walked up to us later on that about 2 weeks later and said, "Hey man, that's pretty cool. Do you know that they got surf competitions for dogs in San Diego?" So we just signed up for it, and that was 8 years ago. And we've been surfing in dog competitions up and down the California coast, including Hawaii, the past 8 years.
That is amazing. Give us a little background on you and Derby.
Yeah, so Derby and I got Derby while I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's 13 now, so that was 12 years ago. I got him from a loving family that just didn't have time for him, and I was in the wanting to look in for a new dog, and we met in Atlanta. Got Derby. He was a little rambunctious, needed a little guidance, a little training. They told me he had eaten a turkey off the counter and eaten two dresses. So he just needed a little training. I've had dogs all my life, living in Kentucky on farms and everything. So yeah, so he just kind of became my new best friend. We moved to San Diego, and yeah, the story started from there.
When did he get the mohawk, and when did you get yours?
So when he got me, I'd already kind of had a mohawk. I was already losing my hair and everything, and I was a bartender. So I dyed it every once in a while. But when I got Derby, I had never had a dog before that needed to be groomed on a regular basis. Most of my dogs were short hairs or something like that. I had a Great Dane before. But so first time I kind of let him poof out. Like he couldn't see his eyes. And I was like, oh, you got to brush these things. You got to get these things haircuts. Not really my thing. So I took him to a groomer and I was like, hey, do you think you could like shave him down? But I don't want him to look like a poodle. But you think you can give him a mohawk? And they're like, yeah, totally. So he got a mohawk. I got a mohawk. When we moved out here to San Diego, his first groomer that we found, who is still his groomer today, she said, not only can I put a mohawk, I can dye it. I didn't know you could dye dog's hair at the time. So she uses a vegan hair dye, and it started from there. And then I started dyeing my hair blue, and it just kind of just became a thing.
Obviously, that works for me also.
Yeah.
Now, the breed?
He is a golden doodle.
Yep. So that's the other thing with us. We had after my strokes on December 24th, 2020, we got our dog Bliss, who is a golden doodle petite.
Yeah.
And so I know what you're saying about the grooming and everything. If it wasn't for Stephanie, Bliss would be shaved, but Stephanie brushes her like 16 hours, 20 hours a month.
Mhm.
And we call her a hippie doodle because, it's little trim around the eyes, the ears, and the butt. And other than that, she's never been under the razor. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's kind of wild what the maintenance on them.
Yeah. I've thought about everybody's like, you should just let him poof out a little bit. I was like, man, we go to the beach too much. I don't need to bring the sand
Right,
home.
right. Oh, that's awesome. Now, so I watched The Pack. We loved it. We've tried to watch it again, but Bliss barks at any dog on TV, so we haven't been able to get very far into it again. Tell us what didn't we see?
Ooh, so it's one of those things now. Now that I've been on a reality TV show, and I've had friends growing up in college who were on reality. I've had a bunch of friends on Real World MTV and stuff like that, and they've told me a lot of behind the scenes. But it's I can't watch reality TV now without knowing what's behind the scenes nowadays.
So it's
But
not so real.
and you know what? It's still real. It's
Right.
still real. But there's some things that they have to do. Like there's story producers that have to make storylines to just make it more watchable. But ours wasn't as bad. I remember asking them, I was like, is this a family show or is this going to be like a cutthroat real like a cutthroat reality show like most of them are, where they're like, oh, we want fighting, we want conflict and everything. Because I told him, I said, I've had people on my friends on Real World and stuff, and I said, if it's anything like that, I don't want to be a part of it. I just hate conflict. Like it's not worth it. But they assured me it was gonna be a family show, which I was like, cool. And then at the very end, yes, it was very much a family show.
Right.
They even I even asked and said, can I cuss on this? And they said you can, but they didn't use any of it. Which I was like, okay, cool. But no, but at the end, it was a really good experience. Even if we had won this competition, we would have not. I would have not have been able to do all the things I did with Derby on my own, and some of the places and access we got. Um, they were definitely more wanted the dog's safety more than the human safety, which is kind of funny to say because we could get hurt all day and not a big deal, but if a dog got hurt, it'd be a huge deal.
Right.
But no, it was super awesome. We were gone 68 days throughout the whole thing. One thing they kind of told me, because a lot of the people that worked on the show worked on like Amazing Race and some of the other reality shows like this, competitions. They're like, yeah, they treat you all a little different. If it was humans, it's just go, go, go. Don't care. Don't care about your feelings. Don't care about if you're tired. Just go. But because we had dogs, it took about 6 to 7 days to film one episode, and that was a lot with safety and just for the well-being of the dog. If we landed in a country, the next day we did nothing because it was all just to help the dogs acclimate, just be aware of what's going on. And then there'd be times we'd be running through the countries or through the forest or through something, and all the producers would say, "Everybody, take a break. Stop. You got to stop. We have to take a break. The dogs need breaks." And everybody, no matter where they were in the country, had to stop.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was awesome that they took the well-being of the dogs very seriously. In the vets, there were always vets around us at all times. Even when we got to countries, we had to see vets, veterinarians there. So, man, I was super impressed about what they did with all the safety with the dogs.
Anything scary or unsettling along the way? I mean, all these different countries and running the streets of Mexico City and all this.
So yeah, and I tell people I was like, there were some incidences that happened. They were like, oh, I didn't know, like we knew they couldn't show it, but it happened. I knew in Mexico City they told us for real. They're like, you can't go anywhere outside without somebody with you. And there was some civil out unrest that was going on at the time in 2020 when that happened, early in 2020. One kind of thing that wasn't even really a part of the show, we had to once we got back from Costa Rica, we had to go back to New York to hang out for a few days before we flew out to Austria. While we're there, we were just kind of like, hey, can we go to the mall? Can we go do something? And because like you're in your hotel room by yourself, and they kind of sequester you because that's the way they want it to happen. And we were just bored. So they took us to the mall. While we're at the mall, one of the people, and we have bodyguards, we have international bodyguards following us around. Um, they all of a sudden they hear something happened where another group was, and they said, we got to go, we got to go. So we all convene. I see it. They said, oh, a fight broke out between these two women. This woman stabbed another woman in the mall. This is in the mall, like American Mall, and just walked out. And then they heard about it. I walked by and said, you talking about that? And they're like, yeah, we need to leave. So just just crazy things that weren't even part of the show just happened, and I was just kind of like, yeah, that was weird.
Now, watching it, it seemed like y'all forged some pretty good friendships and stuff. Or, 4 years later, where's all that? Are you still connected with some of the other participants?
We're still good friends with Lucy, Brian, and Dixie. We saw them earlier this year when we did our book tour up in Indiana. Um, uh, Derby's wife, Snow, Josh and Snow up in LA. If we get a chance to go see them, Vanya and oh man, I'm blanking on their names. The Golden Retriever. They're
Yep.
still up LA. We kind of see them. We haven't seen them in a while. But that first 2 years, we all kind of stayed together in group. But as for everything, that was 4 years ago. We kind of part ways a little bit. We, like I said, those are the ones we kind of still stay in touch with.
Nice. Now, what did this lead to for you? It obviously increased your visibility and your profile, and where did that take you?
So it definitely opened up some doors for us. And that's what I never really thought. There were some ideas I've always wanted to do with Derby, even with our surfing notoriety and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, we do some cool stuff. And even when we were traveling, I would talk to the other people about it. Like they were like, it's always like, what are you gonna do after this? I was like, well, I got a couple ideas. And one of them was moving to San Diego. I realized everybody needs a hoodie. And I was like, you know what? I love these tie-dye hoodies that a buddy of mine makes at one of the farmers markets here in OB called Nice Dyes. And I kind of partnered with him after the show because we made a little money on it and said, hey man, I would love to start a hoodie brand where you buy hoodies for you and your dog to match. Because everybody loves to match their dogs. And Derby and I are all about the matchy-matchy with our hair, our sunglasses, and everything. So we started our own hoodie company where we made tie-dye hoodies for you and your dog to match. We sold these things all over the United States, even out of the country. After that, I've always wanted to write a children's book about Derby and I's adventures of how we met, how we became who we are, and everything. And I always tell people I'm just a big kid at heart. I connect with kids a lot better sometimes than adults because I don't adult very well at all already. And yeah, and that was just a dream of mine to share Derby with all the kids in the world and everywhere. Because when kids see Derby, they just freak out. They're like, "Oh my God, it's got a mohawk!" And I'm like, "You want to pet him?" Yeah. So they always get to pet him and everything. We became also another thing I wanted to be able to share Derby was we became man, I'm just blanking right now. My bad. Why am I blanking on this? Because we just retired from that too. Dogs that go to schools and hospitals and nursing homes.
Okay.
I don't even know why I'm blanking on that name right now. But we came like kind of like a therapy dog for people at schools, hospitals, and nursing homes, and we got to visit people all over in San Diego and California with that, and yeah, just to light up people's day and put smiles on people's faces. Therapy dog. That's what we became.
Therapy dog. That's awesome. That's really, really great. Now, tell us about the book.
Yeah, so the book was something that I've always wanted to do. I didn't really know how to put it together. I've always had the idea in my head, and like I said, I don't adult very well or like be able to get words on paper. So like I tell people, I was like, man, I've got the idea, but I need someone to help me articulate my thoughts onto paper. And at the time, I was working for a handyman service, and my boss was like, "Hey, man, what you been working on with Derby?" And I told him, I said, "Man, I'm working on this book, but I just can't figure out how to get it on paper. I had tried working with a few people, and it just didn't work out." And he said, I'm a writer." I said, "You want to help me write a book?" He said, "Sure." So me and him started just after work. We'd get together at his house, and I'd throw out some ideas, and he would hammer away at the computer, and he'd be like, "What do you think about this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, can we make it this way?" And for 6 months, we kind of built this story that I wanted to get across, and we found an awesome illustrator just through our followers alone. I'm a big proponent. If you believe in something, you want something to happen, you just throw it out in the world, and if you keep telling people enough, or you just keep saying it, something will happen, or somebody will want to help you get there. And yeah, so that's what happened with getting our amazing illustrator. Through the kindness of our followers, we did a Kickstarter, which we were able to raise, $12,000 in just a few days to start our books. We bought 2,000 books. Through that, we kind of sold them ourselves at different dog events, surf events. We did a book tour through Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. We did another big book tour up in Northern California near San Francisco and Sacramento, and even here in San Diego, just going to schools, reading our book to kids. Oh, it was so amazing. Every time it was just, the kids would just scream and yell for Derby, like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome." And the best part of every time we did a school event, was at the very end, I would tell the kids, it's like, hey, we're going to read the book. I'm going to show you some videos. Derby's going to do some tricks. And at the very end, when y'all are lined up leaving the gym or wherever, you all get to pet this fluffy animal. And it was at the very end, I loved it. I would just sit there and kneel with Derby, and one by one, these kids would come up and pet Derby, give him a hug, and Derby just sat there loving every minute of it. And I even think back now, I mean, Derby has literally had hugs from thousands and thousands of kids all over the United States, and it's so amazing.
So, how has Derby reacted to all the fame of being known?
To him, people always ask me, it's like, do you think Derby knows he's in another country? Do you think he knows he's in another city? And I was like, you know what? He thinks he's probably down the street from our house. He's worried. All he worries about is what I'm doing and what can he go with me wherever I go. So to him, as long as he's with me, he's like, man, I'm down for whatever you want to do. And that was one of the things when I first got him, I wanted to train him to be, because like one of the things when I got him to, he didn't know that there were other people or other dogs in the world. He got adopted from a loving family, but they just kind of kept him in the house in his backyard. So he wasn't really well adjusted to a lot of people. So I worked in the bar. So I would just start taking him to the bar. I started taking him on walks every day. Took him to his first dog park in Atlanta where he met other dogs. And he started to adjust really well. Like, oh, because he was really shy and timid when I got him. He wouldn't even walk up to people. Now I can point to somebody and he'll be like, oh, and he'll just walk up to him and say, oh, how you doing? So, but he loved every minute of it.
How has the fame been for you?
It's been good. I've been kept a level head. My wife keeps me on a level head. All of it is fun. I wish it could go on forever. But it's just one thing it can't. But I've always just made Derby priority and putting smiles on people's faces my number one priority. I'm not here to get rich. I was not here to be like super famous to have my own TV show and all that stuff and move on. I even told a lot of people, because a lot of people are like, well, Derby's getting older. You should probably get a puppy and dye its hair blue and call it like Derby 2 and keep this thing going. I was like, no, that's not how this works. I can't do this without Derby. And that's why I always say, it's like, man, if Derby can't go or can't do it, I don't want to do it.
Right.
So,
All
and
right.
like, so that's why, Derby's turning 13 in January. And this was our last year, and we basically made it our retirement year from surfing. We sold all our books, and we're just ready to move on to our next phase in our life, which, me and my wife just got married. We just bought a house here in San Diego, and we're trying to start a family now.
That's awesome. I can see your kids in the future with blue mohawks and some reality show at that point.
You never know. I've hinted to my wife, was like, am I allowed to give our kids haircuts? She said, probably not.
Now, where did you meet your wife?
So we met in Atlanta, Georgia. We used to bartend together for a while. And then and another part of our story that if you ever watch the show is I had bartended for like 20 years, and being a bartender takes a toll on your life. It's a different kind of lifestyle, and through that, there's a lot of drugs and alcohol that are involved. And at the very end of my stint in Atlanta, I was very dependent on that to get through the night of working. And I realized I needed a change in my life, and I needed to get out of that situation. Me and my wife kind of knew each other. We hung out. We always called each other hangout buddies at the time. But nothing serious at the time. And so I just made a decision to leave, and I needed to get out of that bar life. And my sister out here in San Diego said, come out here and live with us and we'll figure it out. And so Derby and I packed up my truck. If it didn't fit on my truck, I sold it or left it and just left. A lot of people didn't even know I had left. And just started a new life out here in San Diego. When me and Derby landed or arrived, I had $200 in my name. And that's it. And I was just like, well, we'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. I always used to joke with people. I said, they would ask me like, what are you going to do when you go there? I said, I don't know. I might sell, carved coconut heads on the beach. I don't know. I'll figure it out. What's funny is right after the show, we started our hoodie business, and we used to pop up tents at the beach selling our hoodies. And I was like, wow, we were really literally on the beach just selling things out in the sun in San Diego with my dog.
The good life.
Yeah, having fun and enjoying it. And then me and my wife reconnected, and I always tell people I tricked her to move out here, but she moved out. She came out a couple times and said, "Oh, I can dig this," and so I said, "I would love to start a new life with you if you want to," and she moved out here. So I tricked her to move out here, and we started our own thing, and then yeah, we were able to get married last year and buy a house, which is crazy to think that people can't do that very much in California, but through all the
Right.
help of our friends and beg, borrow, and steal, we made it happen, and yeah, we're ready to start a family.
That's really great. I have to say that I look for inspiration in people, and I didn't have to dig very far to find it in you. And even in this conversation, I realized there was even more inspiration there than I knew from, I mean, you always say you can tell how a person is watching them with their dog.
Yeah.
Uh, and your authenticity, and just what comes across as like I don't know if the right word is a purity, because obviously, we've all been in wild places in our days and everything like that. And so to say any of us are pure anymore, once we get to a certain age, is kind of funny. But, but there is a purity of heart that shines through from you,
Oh, thank you.
and just your authenticity, and the things that you did after the pack, particularly the book. Stephanie and I were so excited to be one of the sponsors, and we got I'll put it on at the end of the video, before we upload it, of the illustration of us surfing with you and Derby, which is just really awesome. It's just nice. And what, like, future goals? What do you think? Where you at with that? You're going to have to do some big stuff to, raising a family's possibly more difficult than raising a golden doodle.
Yes, I would totally believe that. One of the things like I was ready to do, I was like, when I told my wife, I said, you know what, I think I'm ready. And I've always been kind of like a kid at heart, like I said, just kind of just be bopping around wherever I could go and do whatever I want to do. And I was like, now I'm ready to take care of somebody else. Like I can't take care of Derby. And that's why, like when I convinced my wife to move here, I was like, look, I'm ready to settle down. I want to take care of you. I want to take care of Derby. I want to have kids and I want to take care of them. One of the things people don't really know, I actually have a degree from Georgia Southern University in construction management. And I've always done construction throughout my whole life, building bars, owning bars, doing stuff at houses and stuff. That I've finally realized I was like, all right, now I need to I call it a big boy job. So now I'm currently looking for a job in my field, to kind of get more of a steady job, steady paycheck, and create a life for myself. Have a kid. I'm even my wife does amazing with her job and is crushing it. And I've kind of always looked at her and said, babe, would it be like wild to say that maybe I could be a stay-at-home dad? And she said,
Ah,
I was like, she's like, yeah, we'll see. Maybe you never know. And I was like, oh, that would be my next goal would be a stay-at-home dad.
a good job if you can get it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But like, if I have to work to make that happen, I'll do it. But like, man, if I could stay home and hang out with my best friend, my kids and my dogs, oh, that'd be the life right there.
That's fabulous. Well, wishing you a really happy 2025. I am looking for, we'll be in Southern California for the months of March and April.
Okay.
So it's an absolute definite that we need to get the dogs together, get all of us together, and hang out, at least have a meal or something like that. And I look forward to it. Thank
Totally.
you so much for being a guest on the It's All Good show. And thank you, Derby. You are adorable. My gosh. And just really appreciate you and everything you've done, and you know the joy you've brought into our life at what was a really trying time. Yeah, that alone just locks it up for us. So thank you very much, and wishing you the best, and we'll see you in a couple of months.
Thank you. Happy New Year. We can't wait to see y'all.